Put them on the face.
Okay, you ready?
Ready, Art? Yep.
Come on, Mom.
Yep, right about that. Yep, go over a little further. Is there another broom in there? I'm gonna get another broom, Nate. Okay. Ooh. You wanna come out? You wanna do it? Yeah.
There's one up top.
Yeah, go over there and she'll do this one. That's good. Got it.
Thank you. Number 2.
That's the check. Yep.
We're gonna go for a ride. I think you're a girl. I think we got 3 girls and 1 boy. And guess what bands I'm running out of? The girl band.
The brooms are to keep the parent falcons away as they take the chicks in to tag them.
Stand.
Thank you. Hey, little guy. You want to go and join your sisters? Oh, that's it. You learn your lessons well. You're doing your lessons well. You're going to be okay. Now, come on, let's calm down. It'll make it a lot easier for both of us. Yeah. There we go.
Wow. Face to face.
Thank you.
All right, everybody going in now?
Excuse me.
And it's important for us to determine each one of these birds, whether it's a male or a female, because the females being larger, they need a larger band. We would not want to put a band that is too small on a bird. So here, Officer Chuck is going to take notes for me. Now I'm going to start just by taking a quick look at what we have. And then I will take a more detailed look at each one of these birds. Maybe we can use both of these boxes so that they don't get tangled up with each other. These are called holding bags. And I think the Falcons think that holding means a different thing. We call them holding bags because we hold the birds in them. And you can see that the Falcons are holding on tight with their sharp talons to the bags. So I'm taking a quick weight on them to determine, to get a quick look at what sexes we have. These are 21 days old. They're not quite fully grown yet, but by Memorial Day they will be fully grown. They'll be just as big as their parents. I'll read it.
You said Memorial Day, you mean on Labor Day?
No,
Memorial Day, they'll be just as big. That's only 2
yeah,
days,
but
right?
that's correct. So before they're a month old, they'll be just as big as their parents. Now, those of you who have kids, just search back in your memory and see if you can recall whether your kids were your size before they were a month old. I know that mine was not.
I was 15 before he was my son.
So that the rate at which these grow is truly, truly amazing. Truly amazing. These will start flying when they're 40 to 45 days old. That's truly amazing.
Parents, you think?
I'm sorry?
How old are the parents, you think?
The female is 9 years old. The male we don't know. He's banded, but I banded him as an adult. So since he was an adult, we, at that time, we don't, and unbanded at that time, we don't know how old he was then. Okay, so this is bird number 1. And bird number 1 is 785 grams, 785. And at age 21 days, I know that a bird of that weight is a female. And I knew she was a female just by looking at her in the nest box. Because besides being larger than the males in body size, females have legs and feet that, in proportion to their body, are larger than the males. So that means that when they grow up the rest of the way and they start flying, the females will be able to take larger prey than the males. The males, on the other hand, are more maneuverable and more nimble in the air. So it's really sharing the duties of hunting. And I'm looking in the mouth of this bird. I'm looking for evidence of a disease known as trichomoniasis.
Yeah.
And trichomoniasis is a very bad disease which, if the birds get it at this age, it is always fatal. If I find evidence of it, I can treat them with antibiotics. But fortunately, this bird does not have any evidence of trichomoniasis. So we can write down that the mouth looks good, the eyes look good, okay, they're well developed, there's no evidence of dehydration or other issues of that sort. I'm checking the ears of these birds because sometimes they get parasites in their ears, and if that happens, we can take them out. And the ears are nice and clean. Okay? I'm going to look under the wings to see if they have any ectoparasites, which would be blood-sucking flies or lice or mites. They can get mites that eat their feathers, and I see bugs. These are bugs. Okay? This is a natural thing, but we don't like to see them with bugs. If you'd like to take some bugs with you as a souvenir, then please be my guest. But I will dust these with flea and tick powder. It actually comes from a pet store. It's very effective in killing these ectoparasites. It's pyrethrin, which actually are isolated from marigold petals. So it's very safe. It's bad for the bugs, but very safe for us. Okay, who's going to hold this first bird? Officer Henry? Okay, there we go. And just hold the wings, and if you can wrap a finger around each tarsus, you can pull the leg. That would be great. There, that's good. So now I'm going to check her flight muscles, and they are developing nicely. I already knew that because of her weight, but a check on her flight muscles is that they are developing nicely. I am going to do something disgusting and look at her rear end. And that's good. The reason I'm doing that is that they can get parasites in there as well. That's pretty gross. That happens. Her feet look good. They're well developed. There are no deformities, so we can write that down. So this bird is in excellent good health. And obviously that's what we'd like to see. Take a look at the size of her tarsus and the size of that foot and those nice sharp talons. Those are what they catch their prey with. They use their bill mostly for tearing up food, although they will also use it to kill the prey if they don't kill it just with their feet when they catch it. They have a little notch near the tip of the bill that fits perfectly in the spinal cord of another bird. So if they catch a bird and it's not dead yet, they reach down, they give it one bite, it immediately cuts the spinal cord, they're dead, and they're out of their misery. There is no misery. Now I don't really need to do this, but I'm going to use a lead gauge to measure the size of the tarsus. I already know that this is a female, but I'm going to measure, and she is indeed size 7A. That's the larger of the two sizes we put on. So we'll put on a band that is correctly sized for a female. People sometimes ask me, do these bands hurt? I'm actually wearing a couple bands here. I've got a watch and a ring, and they don't hurt. They're perfectly comfortable. And the same is true of these bands. Okay, we wouldn't do anything that would hurt them. And they're very light. They don't weigh as much as one more bite of food for them, so they really don't interfere at all with the birds. Okay, so I prefer not to advertise the band numbers to the public, so please don't include this. I'm going to read the band for Officer Check to write down. And this band is 1947-07091. And this will go on the right leg. And this is a band from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service series that I mentioned earlier. That band is unique to this bird. The United States and Canada are coordinated with band numbers. And that band series goes from birds as small as sparrows to birds as large as eagles and swans and so forth. So this number is unique. But as you can see, you can't read that band from where you're standing. The only way that you can read this band is if you have the birds in your hands, and the only way that that will happen after today is if this bird shows up somewhere injured or dead. And for that reason, I'm going to put on a second band as well, which I'll show you.
Back out on the roof where there's a nest.
These are called lock-on bands. These birds have very strong bills. And if we didn't lock them on like this by running the tab, they could reach down and just take that band right off. So that's why we use the lock-on band. Okay? And it's crimped nicely, and I'm checking to make sure that it moves well. There are no cracked edges, so she is fine. Now I'm going to put on the second band. And this is a color-coded series. The black over green is a color code that is used in the eastern United States, and you can read that band. Okay? This is how we're able to identify free living birds. We don't have to have it in our hands. And this is how we know where the female at this nest came from. Officer check that 63 over DR, black over green.